Through our collaboration equation, we invite you to practice inclusive dialogue as a conscious choice, being curious about, firstly, who needs to be in the conversation, invited to the meeting, added to the call, who are the people to be having the conversation, included in the conversation in the first place, and then to be curious about the different ways of helping to create inclusion through that conversation. That's from everything from the words you're choosing, the stories you're sharing, the experiences you're sharing to bring points to life. So really paying attention to and thinking about how could I be more inclusive through my actions, through my choices, through my conversations to create that dialogue where everyone feels seen, heard and valued.
And one of the ways in which we bring courage to that conversation is through speaking from the I. This is how I think, this is what I know, this is how I feel. Sharing that with everybody rather than generalising in terms of, well, I think we all agree. Having the courage to say, I agree with that. Giving feedback to each other through smiling, acknowledging, thanking somebody for their contribution, including them, bringing them in, noticing that somebody perhaps hasn't spoken for a while and inviting them to speak, having the courage to ask them to speak. Sharing stories which help people move their thinking forward, help them to really know each other better.
And when we're bringing care to our inclusive dialogue, we're really paying attention to our impact. We're noticing how what we're saying, what we're choosing to share is landing with other people. We're staying present and connected. We're listening, we're bringing our empathy. We're imagining what it is like for other people rather than always seeing the world through our own view or perspective or experience.
Once we've created psychological safety and practiced inclusive dialogue, then naturally diversity of thought and feeling follow. We can invite diversity of thought. We can be curious to hear more. In fact, we are even more curious when somebody has a different opinion, a different thought, where perhaps it is in conflict with what we were thinking. And to really bring our curiosity, tell me more about that. That's not what I think. And we are owning it, but seeking more through our curiosity. When we bring care, particularly to something that perhaps we don't care about, a topic, a subject, somebody's other area of interest, that's when we need to bring even more care. Dial up our care, not only for the person, but also for the subject, to care enough when it's not our thing. And then to have the courage in particular, perhaps when we don't understand something or it's expected that we might know something, to share that we don't know or that we feel differently. One of the things we have noticed in our work with leaders and their teams is that whilst diversity of thought is spoken about, diversity of feeling is something which is often not welcomed, not invited in the way that we encourage people to be able to share how I feel about something. It's often what we remember about somebody, but when we are able to share how we feel and to have different feelings, that's when courage really happens, along with curiosity and care.